Pest control firm based in Surrey is warning people to check their loft spaces for large colonies of parakeets, which are taking hold in some areas, causing serious damage to houses. Let's talk to Paul Bates, who's the MD of Cleankill. You've got me running scared already, Paul. Hello.
Hiya, Danny.
Let's start with let's go at parakeets first. By the way, if you have a pest control problem, you're happy to answer those, aren't you, Paul?
I'll answer any questions you've got.
Great, OK. 08459 570057 is our number. Call us now. Talk about parakeets then. My folks have those come to their garden in West London. Are they a pest then?
Well, I suppose at a time when mass immigration is making the news because of the elections, I suppose parakeets and tropical ants and things like that is just another immigration issue.
Right, so the parakeets aren't from around these parts originally, no?
No, about 60 years ago, the urban legend goes that there were a few released when the African Queen was being made over in Shepperton Studios. But the pest control companies have never been able to do anything about them. Earlier this year, on beginning of January, they're actually added to a general licence which classifies them as becoming a pest. And if they're capable of causing serious damage or disease or creating a problem to public health or public safety, then a pest control company can do something.
And that's the first time you've been able to do that under law?
It is. The lady in question, she had the problem about a year ago. And what appears has happened is that the parakeets have opened a little louvered air vent on the outside of her house, and they've gone into it. And it's like plastic tubing that you have on your tumble dryer. Mm-hmm. And once they've got inside, they've pecked it apart. And it was only when they started pecking through her kitchen ceiling in about February this year, we were called in, and we just took advice from Natural England, because we don't particularly like killing the animals if we can stop them. There was no nesting in there, so we were able to force the bird out and then put some meshing over the air vent to stop them getting back in. But we'd actually taken some photos, and they've been sharpening their beaks on the wooden joists of the inside of the roof, and then they say they pecked a great big hole in the lady's ceiling.
So are they particularly aggressive birds, though, the parakeets?
The RSPB have said that they're very aggressive towards other birds, and they've reported about a 30% increase in numbers in Bushy Park in London.
I know Bushy Park, yeah.
And Richmond Park. And they're just breeding in the trees. They live in the trees, and then they come down and feast on berries and things. And I suppose what would worry other people, or farmers in particular, is the damage to fruit.
Yeah, it's tricky that, you see, because, they're beautiful to look at, and when there's a few on Dad's birth feeders in the gardens, I think they quite like that. And interestingly, I live in Brighton, but I've never seen any that far south in that sort of area. Is it sort of particular kind of northeast Surrey, West London sort of problem, this?
Yes, it is. We've had some reports in and around Croydon recently. There's a place called Shirley, which has got a 150-year-old windmill, and parakeets were landing on the upper arms of the windmill and literally sharpening their beaks on the arms of it. And there's very little that could be done. And a church very nearby, which is covered in pebble dashing, the parakeets were landing, and we assumed that they were taking out insects that were on the pebble dashing, but of course they were doing great, immense damage to it.
Yeah, OK, right, well, that's dealt with parakeets, but that you can now legally have them controlled by pest control companies, yeah?
Actions can be taken if they're getting into a problem and causing public health damage.
OK. Paul, really interesting stuff. Thank you. That's really useful information for us today. Thank you.
Not a problem. As we say, let your pest be our problem.